Now, this is where we get to start playing with this fella. This feels like it weighs nothing, eh? Pretty. I'm not putting any charging handles on this because it's secondary and I don't want it to like snag or catch on anything. Is that what these stop on? Right, very good. Guess we need to start stripping this fella. I see no reason to upgrade the guide rod. I really don't see any reason to upgrade it. Like the plastic one's actually nicer because you could flex it and put it in like that and take it out the same. Otherwise, if you get the aluminium one, then you have to undo the screws to remove this and put it in. I'm also not upgrading this recoil spring simply because this thing already has really good fire rate when it's, you know, working and all that, and the stronger the spring is a thing that's required more to move the mass back. And I don't want this thing to be crazy rate of fire, but there's a chance that it's going to be even faster rate of fire on a lighter spring than on a stronger spring. But because this is so stupidly light compared to this, there's no need to put a strong spring in there. It's kind of pointless. Like, you're just overdoing it. It doesn't need it. I don't know why people put such massive springs in there to the point where they can barely move the fucking thing. And then just run it like that. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, but if you want to do it, I don't care, go ahead. I mean, my high cap has got a big ass spring in it, but it's a heavier than stock with the TM. Clean all that out, we'll get that out of there. I'm also just going to use all of these stock parts. I'm not going to go around and replace these. There's like literally no reason to replace these things. This is actually almost better having this plastic, because then when it that actually rubs on there. Yeah, I did press that, that's good. For a second I thought I didn't hit record, but no, I did hit record. Yeah, when this is cycling backwards, that's what kicks the trigger bar. That fella. So when you flick it to auto, it goes in this groove here instead of tripping that. So it doesn't actually kick the sear in there off. So it just holds it back. Keeps going and going and going. So we'll be reusing that, we'll be reusing that, we'll be reusing that. We need to reuse that screw. Right, we're going to get these fellas out of here. Which size screwdriver is that? Not that one. Is it going to be number 1? Yeah, that's Phillips number 1. Get those fellas out of there. I must have had this all apart. It feels like I've Loctited them at some stage. Look at that, eh? It's that lovely little cup seal in there. Pretty shortly I'm going to decide whether or not I want to use the Calcal V2 or the TTI seal on this nozzle. And I'll be looking at that very shortly. Just give it a bit of a clean out and clean off. You're probably going to think I'm crazy for what I'll do with that when I'm putting it back together, the amount of lube I put on that, but I do like to lube this up because, yeah, I haven't had any problems lubing that up on this or on my high capper. I see more problems with stuff being dry. Man, that is a substantial weight difference. Ignore how crappy these scales look, they were free. That is 91.9 grams. That is 31.3 7 grams. That's 1/3 the weight of that. That is insane. It is actually insane how light that is. And that's not even the lightest ones you can get, which is just mind-boggling how light these things can be made. Like, that is a substantial amount of weight. Well, let's crack on with this. I guess we're going to start by doing what I was just talking about. Checking these fellas out. I know this one works well, but we'll see what they feel like in the actual nozzle. Put that over there. Right. We go like so. There's a tiny, it's basically touching all the way around. There's a tiny gap, I reckon. Tiny gap where it's not touching. And this one. Ooh. And this one's harder to grab because it's rubber. You know what? We might just try. Might try and grab it like this. I think that is ever so slightly more. Well, it has got a sharp edge on it. It feels like there's more drag on that than on this. Yeah, this has got less drag. Yeah, this has less drag and less wiggle room. This has more wiggle room and more drag. So I'm going to probably just use the TTI for that one and keep this for something else. I've got 2 of these because I thought I was going to put these in my carbine as well, and then remembered it had one of those in it, and then seen those in stock again. So TTI for the win again. Calcal parts to the side. That's all good. Which means we have to get that screw out of there. What size is that screw? Is it going to be you? You are very close, but we'll wreck that one because it could be tight. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's the money right there. Oh, we might have another issue though. We might have another issue. I need to find a screw that length with that head on it. Ha 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 ha. Right. I'll be back in a sec if I can find a screw. Fucking sick. Alright, back again. I have found a screw that works. I have found some of these which are a little bit too long, so I could cut those and make them work. However, look at this. If anyone has worked on G&Gs before, you will recognize this screw. This is one of the G&G gearbox housing screws. It's fucking perfect. It just right in there. There is one thing about this. This is kind of keywayed in the shape that hole is, but there is movement on that shaft and that hole. That is not very precise, so when you tighten this, you're going to have to make sure it actually is sitting in there, not cocked over to one side, which is not too much of a hassle. That hole is a blind hole, so I'm going to try and get some thread locker way down in that hole. I'm going to just push that on there nice and gently and snugly. Make sure it's not doing anything silly. It's not sitting all the way in there, but that won't matter. It's not sitting all the way in there. I believe that is just because of this here height difference. That's saying 1.46, and this is This is 1.3. So that's taller than that, which shouldn't cause any hassles. If you really wanted to, do I really want to? No, it's sitting nice and evenly. If you really wanted to, if you're using these exact parts, you could sand that face just a tiny bit. That would get that sitting right on each other. However, I don't think that it's necessary. Yeah, I don't think that that is necessary. I'm not gonna do it though. You know what? I'm not going to do it for the simple fact of venting gas after the stroke. That's why I'm going to choose to not do that. So, right now, I need to find my little pick. Little pick, where did you go? There you are. Can I get you down in that hole? Yes, I can. Now, also, you don't want to put a lot of Loctite down in blind holes, especially small blind holes, because you could do silly stuff. It will seal itself to the air outside, and if you put too much in there, you can actually create pressure, and literally the pressure will go through and crack the casing. That goes for anything that you're doing. It's like if you're doing head bolts on any sort of automotive head on an engine, and you decide to fill the holes full of oil and then crank the bolts down, you will literally crack the head. It's not a fun time if you do that. I have never done that. Used to be a mechanic. Used to be. That's probably why I'm not anymore. Used to be a mechanic, but yeah, I've never actually done that before. I got told about that one before ever trying that. Right, so we're going to tighten up this screw. I have a stash of these screws. What are you doing? That does not feel healthy. Why does that not feel healthy? I don't think the threads in this are very strong. You know what I might actually do? I might actually put some red Loctite in there. Or just lots of blue. Lots of blue is probably better. I don't think these threads are very healthy in here. I snugged it up once while testing off camera, but I don't think they're very strong threads. I wonder if that one snug was enough to do something silly. It's very fiddly, these little wee bits. I might fire up the air compressor and blow down in that hole. Right, I'm not 100% sure what just happened there. So almost like there was something just stuck on one of the threads. Like the threads themselves are okay, but I'd say to still be careful with threads on here. They seem to be holding up all right. I've lined that up nicely, done the screw up, a bit of blue Loctite down in the hole, bit on the screw itself, so that should be fine. I guess you would know if you put your nozzle in and your nozzle is not free floating, you would probably know that, I don't know if you'd realize or not, but that'd probably be why your nozzle wouldn't be free floating if that's like cocked over to one side. And that one's dropping in there and floating around nicely. I guess I shall put these fellas here back in. We'll see how they want to fit. Oh yeah, that one sits there nicely. There he is. That fella there is going to sit on there. Just like so. Without the screw, feels like that's going to work. Need to, what size Phillips do I want? That one or that one? I suppose that's a nice thing too with those G&D screws. They're actually It's Phillips number 2, I believe they are. Number 2 is the standard one. Get some more Loctite going. But the only thing I haven't Loctited yet is the trigger. But I'll get to that a bit later when I'm actually adjusting said trigger. Wait, you be gone near you. Screw that down through there. There we go. Oh man, that is ever so slightly tighter in movement compared to the stock one. Doesn't really matter too much because I won't be using this in auto very often. Now that's that fella on there. I suppose next I want to put that spring inside of this nozzle. I don't know which way around this pin goes, but we'll find out. That way? Does it even matter which way around these pins go? It does. It goes the other way for some reason. There is knurling on this pin. Put your finger over the end so it doesn't go anywhere, and guess what? This one did not go anywhere. Judging by that, that means this spring is already losing compression. You're meant to, you normally have to push that valve in a little bit to put that pin through, and there should be tension pushing this back against that pin. There's no tension. This spring is already compressing, so that spring is already on its way out. I'm trying to think how many rounds I put through this. A few thousand probably have gone through this. Maybe like 2,000 gone through it. So that goes to show how often those springs don't like working when it went inside the thing. That is stronger, a lot stronger than that. Yeah. So if that's stronger, it's going to take more energy to close it. So if anything, this has a chance to increase your FPS. Hopefully it doesn't increase it too much on this one, because this is meant to be a secondary. And at our field, see, I can't put that in without compressing this. At our field, the secondary has to be blue tag, which is a max of 1.13 joules as far as I remember. I'll chrono all of this before going out there for the weekend. And look at that. Nozzle is working how it should. We'll set that fella there for a moment. Set that fella there, and we'll get this fella all cleaned up. Ready to go. There's the nozzle spring, and there's that spring. They can chill in there. Get these screws all cleaned up. Get this block cleaned up from all the old grease and the old Loctite off of these screws. I'm going to put some more Loctite back on these ones. These AAPs are so pleasant to work on. I haven't really upgraded many. This is actually the first one I'm upgrading. But they're just such easy things to work on, eh? And saying that, I do believe that if you don't know how to use tools, you shouldn't be using tools. Stop touching shit, you know? I am an avid believer in that we need to appoint tool licenses, that you're not able to purchase a tool or use a tool without proving somehow that you're competent, because the amount of things that people just damage on a daily basis because they don't know what they're doing, and then the pros have to go in and actually fix the problem, is just mind-boggling. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. And if you do it, expect to pay more money to fix it when someone else has to fix it for you. Don't get shitty about it, you know? The amount of airsoft guns that I've fixed for people just because I like working on them. These threads are not the best, eh? It's all lining up. It's just got like tight spots in them. Oh, you know what? I didn't put the nozzle spring back on here either. Yeah, the amount of guns that are fixed for people, and like you pull them apart and they've done shit so horribly wrong, and it's like so obvious beforehand, and they just haven't noticed. Like, people, you just have to pay attention to what you're doing here. There's something down there. I wonder if it's just another burr of thread again. I wonder if the batch that I've got here has been done with some cheap and not sharp taps. And there might be like a little burr hiding down in the thread. I'm pretty sure what the problem here is. I'll just play with this a little bit till it's